Welcome back to Woodruff Woods. This morning I got a project. I am going to be installing a BXPANDED thumb on a 270B backhoe that I'll be using on my 2032 R John Deere tractor. First, what I'm going to do is show you what came in the package. So if we look here, this was actually very neatly packaged. Very impressed with the packaging from BXPANDED. In the bottom of the original box was the actual thumb. Then there were two boxes on top, which you've seen I've disassembled. See, I disassembled here. We have the two pieces that actually go up onto the boom of the dipper stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the backhoe to the tractor so that I can control the pressure on the bucket, because according to the instructions, you need to keep the bucket just off the ground so it doesn't fall and get out of control. But I'm going to walk you through this. It looks like a really simple installation, but for those of you that are thinking about a thumb, I'm going to show you the installation. Then we're going to go try it out on some logs that I have and pick them up and see how it works. So stay tuned. So we're back in the garage here. You can see I lowered the bucket. It is just above the ground. There's literally no weight on it. But as we remove the pins, well, we only have to remove one pin from what I can see. But as we remove that pin, this will keep the bucket from swinging down and away and then forcing us to try to realign it. So I think this should work. It said you can sit it down. The instructions said you can sit it down on the ground with minimal pressure. I think just having it off the ground would be fine. And if I have to use a pry bar to get it back in line, I'll do that. So I think the next part of this, I'm going to start assembling the thumb itself, and I'll be right back to video that. So here we have all of our parts. So the first part of these instructions require us to marry these two parts together. This is the telescoping or telescoping. I'm not exactly sure how to say that. Telescoping, I think, part of the thumb. So basically what the instructions are saying is that we take this larger piece, slide this smaller bar stock through there, and I don't know how far closed I can go. I think there. Slide this pin through somewhere here, and we'll just secure it with this hairpin. Wow, that's a very strong hairpin. Guess I better throw some pliers in the tractor. Wow. Maybe I'll get a different type of pin. That was really strong. So might need to hammer it in. I didn't think that this would be the struggling part of this video. Anyway, now we're going to take that, and I believe it will hang with the bigger side upward through the dipper stick. So I'm going to attach that. These are 1 1/8 inch bolts up here, in case you're wondering. So if you're doing this project real time, you'll need a 1 1/8" socket or wrench or whatever you have. So I'm going to get to the next step, which will be putting this onto the backhoe itself. So we're at the backhoe. I need to put this piece up in here with this pin. And I'll bring that a little closer. Took a little grease from my grease gun, just as a good measure. It did not say in the instructions that I needed to do this. I just felt that a little bit of grease couldn't hurt because there will be some pressure against this joint. So we'll see how this goes. It might be better with 2 people. You know, I'll try to do this myself without dropping it on my foot. That wasn't too bad at all. So at this point, I'm going to move you a little closer. So what we're doing here is we got a washer and on each side of this, and a nylon nut on this side. On this side, we have the end of the bolt with a washer. I think we're gonna have to be careful here. I can probably run this on a little bit with the impact wrench, but you know, even in the instructions it says you have to be careful you don't bend this. So I don't want to really torque on this. This is a big bolt. I clearly could get enough torque to bend this, and if you bend your dipper stick, it's not going to be a good day. So I think I'll just run it on a ways and then do the final tightening by hand. I think that's probably about far enough. Tap this. Bolt keeps, I guess I just put a little bit more on it. Goes on very hard, I can say that. Okay, I think I'm going to do the final tightening now by hand. Okay, I think that's, back that off just a hair. So as predicted, I could actually see this bending. So let me get you off of there. And right in there, I could see that bending. So what I did is you saw me just back the nut off a little bit so that I could make sure, let me drop these wrenches. I could make sure that this stayed straight. And I was watching it on the other side as well. As a matter of fact, I think I could even take another half a turn off of there. So so at this point we got this hanging here, and I'll get on to the next step in the instructions here in just a minute. I gotta go grab myself a coffee. Be back shortly. So we're back. So we're gonna remove this pin from the bucket. This is why we lowered the bucket very close to the floor so it doesn't swing out of control when we pull this pin. Plus it would add pressure on this pin and probably make it a little more difficult to pull it out. So this is a 9/16 inch bolt. I'm gonna just hit it with the impact wrench real quick, just to loosen it up a bit. looks like it come right out. And then we'll get to pushing this pin out. These are, obviously I was doing a good job greasing this because it is really greasy. I believe, let me see if I can tap this on the other side. It may push out this way. And it does. So I just have a piece of bar stock. I don't even know where I got this. I just keep it in my toolbox. It works good for pushing things through things. And it works especially good as a punch as you're trying to push out a longer pin like this. So I'm going to tap this out. You can see it's coming out very easily. So I won't bore you with all these hammer taps as I tap it out. I don't want to hit it too hard and just, damage it. But I do need to probably get a little bit bigger hammer. I'm going to go grab a 2 or 3 pound sledge and knock that out. So as you can see, I have it out of there. And just as expected, that bucket did swing a little bit. And you can see it's not quite lined up. I think what I'm going to do is start the tractor and adjust my boom a little bit, actually my dipper stick, and see if I can't get that a little closer. Because in the next step, we're going to install the actual thumb portion of the product. So unfortunately my battery died, so I had to change batteries. It's been that morning. Anyway, I caught it before I finished this. First of all, getting this into place, if you're doing this by yourself, and I will say I think it would be much easier with 2 people, I found it easier to be back here behind the bucket. So as far back away from the tractor as possible, it was a little easier to line this up. So you want to make sure as you're doing this hole here, and actually I don't think you can see what I'm looking at. This hole here on the pin, you want in line with this hole here. I'm going to try to watch that as I tap this in. And it appears that I'm hitting on the other side. That was pretty solid. I may need to lift the backhoe a bit. And it looks like I'm getting a little off kilter here. That seems to be going now. And actually, I don't want to beat that too hard. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab a block of wood and finish this. So all I'm going to do is put a block of wood on there so I don't do anything to the metal. And unfortunately, they're all sitting outside right now. So I'll be right back. So pin is in now. And now all I need to do, they supplied a new bolt, retaining bolt for that pin. Hopefully my alignment's good. Just a little bit off. I don't know if I can. I'll just take a screwdriver here and just see if we can get that. Boy, it looks really close. It's just not wanting to go through there. Let me just see if I can use a ratchet to. It might be enough to draw itself through. See what's happening. Feel it. I still can't feel it on the other side, but I think I'm through now. Yeah, I'm just a little bit off on my alignment of the pin, but it was so close that actually the threads of the bolt are actually pulling it through. So I got enough through now that I can start my nut on the back, which I'm just gonna try to, there's not much room to work back there, but we'll see if we can't get this to thread on. Of course, nylon nuts are not always the easiest things to use. The other thing I noticed as I was doing this, the bolt that they supplied, which you can see has, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has 3 marks on it, and which would tell me, I believe that's a grade 5 bolt. If someone knows for sure, say so in the comments. I'd be curious. But you know, that's the one that I pulled out from John Deere. I believe is a grade 8 bolt. I can show that to you, as it has, as you can see, I think there's 6 there, 6 different markings, and I believe that indicates that it's a grade 8. And I also noticed the thread was very fine on it, compared to what I'm putting in there. I'm going to assume that you know, the manufacturer knows that this bolt is sufficient, but if for some reason it's not, I'll just stop and get a longer grade 8 bolt than I have here currently. So that's pretty minor, frankly. I don't think that it's going to be an issue, because frankly there is just no pressure on this whatsoever. Now we've run into a problem. I can't get my wrench back in here. Maybe it's just because I can't see what the hell I'm doing, and that was the problem. So just tighten this up, and I think we're just about done. I think all we have to do is attach the arm here. Yesterday I went on a motorcycle ride with a friend of mine, and we went to the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, which, if you're thinking of the real Grand Canyon versus the Pennsylvania one, you might be a little disappointed when you get out there to Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. But anyway, it was a really beautiful ride. I did some footage of riding through it's actually called the Pine Creek Gorge. So I'll be posting that video later as well. I'm hoping I'm able to. I just did it from my helmet. So now all we have to do, and I'm going to move the camera here so you can see a little bit better, but I just need to attach the pivot arm to the tooth bar, the thumb. So I'll move you, and then I'll do that. So we're back. The only thing remaining to do is to install this, and it says expect a tight fit, so not sure what to expect here. I guess a tight fit. So I believe, and unfortunately, there we go, my backhoe had settled. We just have to get this up here, and I'm going to start this, and we have to get a washer on the other side. So, again, with 2 people, this would be a walk in the park. But I am missing a hand. So what I'm going to try to do is stand up and nudge this in with my knee. Unfortunately, I might. And oddly enough, that worked. Usually I'm not that fortunate. So I probably should have thought to put some grease on that before I line that up like that. But nonetheless, I'll do it now. Again, this isn't moving a ton. You know, the only time it's going to move is when I'm adjusting it. But there is some torque on it. You know, as you pinch and you grab something, you know, it could torque this a bit. And, you know, the grease would allow it to move a little bit if it needed to disperse that torque. So, anyway. And I'm watching right now, and there it is. It is pushed through the other side. So I want to get this washer close here. And just not close enough. Again, I really advise you to have someone help you do this. This would be so much easier with two people. I'm really struggling to do this with one hand. So I'm actually gonna, I'll show you what I'm getting into here. So if you can see here, I've got to get that washer to line up in there so I can run this bolt through. Again, if I had someone to lift out here or run this bolt in, whatever, it'd be much easier. Right now, I'm trying to work around where the camera was, and so I'm actually going to shut this off and just wiggle this around and get it pushed through. All right, so in the instructions, it says to remove that pin, that bent pin, and then to move this to see if this vertical piece kind of stays in position, and it does. And it's a little bit snug, but it's, you know, it talks about having a bit of friction, but I'm just not sure what's right. I mean, so I think it's okay. I kind of like that it'll sit there and I can get the pin through without it falling. The only thing I could do to release that is to loosen this just a half a turn or something, which I actually might do, because it's really not that big a deal to hook this up. So anyway, this kind of wraps things up for the BXPANDED installation. The only other thing I need to do, which you don't need to see it, but there is a grease fitting right back in here for this pin. Understand this is a new pin, so we have to grease that up. So I'll grease that up, and once I get outside, we'll pick up a few things with this and see how it works. I'm kind of excited to use it. I also want to just give a big shout out to the BXPANDED folks. You know, originally they had quoted me 4 to 6 weeks. You know, their supply chains around the world are a mess. They did let me know that it would be you know, 6 weeks at least, maybe a little more. And so anyway, I had checked with them earlier this week. This was the week of the 17th was when it was supposed to ship. She said, geez, it looks like it might be another 2 weeks. I expressed my disappointment in that, but I understand what manufacturers are going through. You know, lo and behold, it's Friday morning and it arrived yesterday. They were able to get it out. And so kudos to the folks at BXPANDED. Thanks for moving this along for me. I'm really excited to use the product. Very impressed with your packaging and very impressed with the build of this. I mean, it's a healthy unit. So so can't wait to try it. I'll take you all along for that ride. And if you like what you see here, please give me a subscribe, a like, and or share the video with someone that's maybe going through the same installation. Hopefully something I did here will help you out. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.
think that I can probably use this to, you know, if I have a big round, I can sit it up on my wood splitter, because I really hate doing it vertically. So far so good here. You can see where it would take a little getting used to. Right here, a little too close. Can't get it. I'm just going to dig up the line. It's certainly out of the distance. Now I want to pick up a piece. Of course, I could adjust this. So pretty impressed here. This is an oak log, and even though it is a bit dried out, you can see the backhoe has no problem lifting it. I mean, I can extend out, and you know, it really is doing a great job. I'm really surprised at the power. And you know, I think a lot of times with these 270B backhoes, people demonstrate them just digging a hole or maybe digging out a small stump, but this kind of goes to show you that this has some useful purposes. I mean, I could easily cut on this. You know, hopefully I can teach the wife how to use this thumb and pull the log up off the ground. Saves on the chain, saves on the back. So very pleased.